Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's time for the Expendable Show. So let's get right into it. If you like the show, like, subscribe, and ding the bell. That's how the channel grows. Bonnie, what's up? So let's do the sponsors. Sponsored by Gatsby Trading Solutions and the Islamabad Telegraph. I'm going to start putting my own business on here and sponsoring myself so I can get the tax write-off. Huh? That'd be smart, wouldn't it? Sponsor myself. So there's a lot. Oh, wait, one more. Don't forget, if you're in the Atlanta area, come to the 404-day weekend music festival. It's at the Atlanta Underground. There will be 8 nationally renowned musical artists performing. So I'll probably get my picture taken with a bunch of people. I probably won't know who they are, but somebody will tell me they're famous. So I'll just get my picture taken with them. But that's how that's going to go. No, it'll be a good time. Last year, there were 10,000 people that came to it and they had to move it. There were 20,000 people that showed up, but the capacity was only for 10,000. So they had to move the venue from a building out into the street and they had to set up the stage outside. So, hey, Rachel. Yeah, so we're expecting 20,000. I would expect 25 to 30,000 to show up. So this is going to be a pretty nice sized event. So there's that. The 404-day weekend music festival. It's April 4th. April 4th. 4-4. Can't forget it. So let's get into our statistics. Gas has gone up again, like exponentially. So the average price of gas across America is $2.93. Here in Locust Grove, like I just missed it. Like I had to get gas. And when I went to the gym this morning, it was like $2.50. But then I was like, I'll get gas later. Then I went out and like at noon and it was $2.79. So mad. I had to get gas though. Mortgage rates hasn't changed, 5.99. Trump's approval ratings hovering around the same number, 42.2. Let's check the Dow Jones real quick. I know we're over 50,000. I'm pretty sure we closed at another record today. I don't think we did, but $50,121.40 is what the Dow closed at today. So that's good. Strong markets. Democrat Party, 35.3% approval rating. If I hate to say that this is a horrible thing for me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm tired of the Nancy Guthrie thing. I said it. I pray that she comes home safe. But the amount of coverage and effort that is getting put into that, it's nonstop. This is the biggest manhunt I've ever seen. There's not much to update. They did detain somebody and question them, but they let him go. They just are showing now they found a black glove near Nancy's home. It was O.J. Simpson. Oh wait, the glove didn't fit. I forgot. So it wasn't him. It wasn't O.J. O.J. didn't do it because the glove didn't fit. So today I'm going to talk about some of the bigger issues. So yesterday, the House Ways and Means held a hearing. And I was reading through the transcripts of it, and I was like, man, that's kind of significant. So, right, Bonnie. Well, you know what? We might get into that here in a minute. But the House Ways and Means Committee held a high-profile hearing on malign foreign influence in American nonprofits. So they're looking into some of these nonprofit groups that are funding the protesters, and they're finding out where this money's coming from. Chairman Jason Smith opened the session at 10:05 a.m. using the gavel to formally launch what has become an escalating investigation into whether foreign governments, particularly China, are using U.S.-based nonprofits to influence American politics and public opinion. I don't understand why this isn't on the news all day long. Instead, we've had 12 days in a row of Nancy Guthrie updates every 10 seconds. I get it. She needs to get found and come home, but at the same time, there's some major things happening. Chuck, I 100% agree. It's overblown. We all know nothing's going to happen out of the Epstein files, so I'm not putting no more thought into that. And the Nancy coverage it's like 24/7 like live footage all day long of Nancy Guthrie's and they talk to like the same three people over and over and over again. It's like the same information over and over. It's driving me crazy. But in this meeting, the committee zeroed in on allegations that certain U.S. nonprofits and media organizations are being funded or influenced by Neville Roy Singham. He's an American-born tech mogul who now lives in China, where the China virus came from, and has documented business ties to individuals and entities linked to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, for those who don't know. Smith has accused Singham of bankrolling a network of activist groups that push pro-Beijing narratives and sow chaos into our system. In our political environments, they do nothing but cause problems. The hearing was part of a broader investigation into whether these groups should retain their tax-exempt status. No, they should yank it. So some of the people that testified are people that are, they're people that pay attention to this stuff, but nobody really newsworthy, or at least not in my opinion. But they did testify on how foreign money can move through nonprofit structures. They talked about how influence campaigns are disguised as grassroots activism. It's like a way that they funnel the money in and to get the CCP agenda, and they kind of disguise it into activism. But really, like when they go to their little meetings, it's usually about how to become a socialist. So they also looked into whether current IRS rules are sufficient to detect foreign-backed political activity. I think that's something that they should seriously look into. Is the IRS fully capable of auditing these nonprofits and making sure that they're not backed by foreign governments? So the hearing was contentious and politically charged. Republicans emphasized alleged CCP-linked influence networks and national security risk. Democrats pushed back and said, we love China and we'll do whatever China says. And they argued that the investigation risked politicizing nonprofit oversight and selectively targeting left-leaning groups. We'll get the Chinese business out of your left-leaning groups, then nobody will look at them. According to reporting, the groups under scrutiny did not retreat or go silent. They continued to deny wrongdoing and criticize the investigation as politically motivated. So it seems that foreign governments are apparently using soft power channels to shape U.S. into discourse. The vulnerability of nonprofit structures is kind of opaque to the funding. And it's creating a heightened U.S.-China tension, which we're pretty much at a heightened U.S.-China tension all the time anymore. This is going to be a political issue going into the elections as the closer we get. If J.D. Vance or whoever is running for president in 2028, if they start polling well, you're going to start seeing more people in the streets. It's all a pattern. And I think a lot of Americans are very aware of what that pattern looks like. We've seen it several times over now. So who is Neville Roy Singham? He doesn't pop up nearly as much as like somebody like George Soros, but I thought, you know what? I'll dig into him. I know a little bit about him, but not a lot. But now I know a lot about him. So Neville Roy Singham is an American-born businessman and social activist. He's best known as the founder and former chairman of ThoughtWorks, which is a global IT consulting company. He sold the company in 2017 for $785 million. He was born in 1954 in Middletown, Connecticut. He went to Howard University. In the 70s, he worked at a Chrysler plant in Detroit and became involved with the League of Revolutionary Black Workers, which is they're a radical black, like Marxist labor organization, for those of you who don't know. Hi, Tessa. Hey, Rick. Everybody check and see if your names are on the list. After selling ThoughtWorks, Singham relocated to Shanghai, where he became increasingly involved with organizations and individuals aligned with the CCP. Hey, Linda. So Singham's currently at the center of multiple congressional investigations. Republican lawmakers allege that that he funds a network of U.S. nonprofits and activist groups, which he does. We're going to go through those. He pushes pro-Beijing Marxist or anti-U.S. narratives, which he does. He may be involved in foreign influence operations, which he is, or he has financial ties to groups involved in anti-ICE protests and other disruptive demonstrations. They've already followed his money. He's involved. So the House Ways and Means Committee did a good job of digging this guy up. They found that he bankrolled groups like the People's Forum and the Party for Socialism and Liberation. He funded nonprofits accused of spreading CCP-aligned propaganda. He supported activist networks involved in protests in Minneapolis and Los Angeles. He potentially used foreign dark money to influence U.S. political discourse. Hello, Nikki. So what are some of the things he's involved in? So we talked about ThoughtWorks. It's a global IT company that he sold. He has a wife. Her name is Jody Evans. So Jody Evans is co-founder of Code Pink. I'm sure a lot of you know what Code Pink is. You probably heard the people on the news complaining about it. So Singham donates to Code Pink that his wife owns or is the co-founder of. He's also involved with the People's Forum, which is a Marxist community center. They receive millions from Singham Link foundations. He hosts pro-China events and speakers. He shares addresses with other Singham-connected groups. He also is involved in the Tricontinental, which is an institute for social research. It's a global research organization with offices in the U.S., India, Brazil, and South Africa. It's led by Vijay Prashad. It produces pro-Beijing and an anti-U.S. foreign policy content. It receives significant Singham-linked funding. So then there's Code Pink, which is an anti-war organization co-founded by Jody Evans. They shifted from anti-war, and now they do pro-China. So Singham funds that. The People's Support Foundation, which is a newer nonprofit, it shares personal and addresses with other organizations. And then he owns several like media outlets. The Dongshang News, which is out of China, which is a CCP news outlet. He's part of the No Cold War Coalition. It's a global campaign opposing U.S. policy towards China. He's part of the International People's Assembly, which is an umbrella coalition of leftist groups. It's connected to Tricontinental, and it promotes anti-U.S. and pro-China messaging. This guy is a bad dude, and we need to get him out. He's got to get out of this country. He is in China, but his money flows through America deep. So he uses these pipelines. So he'll donate to the pipeline. The pipeline distributes his funding. So there's three of them we're going to talk about. The Justice and Education Fund. It's a major pass-through foundation. It receives tens of millions of dollars from Singham a year. It distributes funds to Code Pink, Tricontinental, TPF. Then there's the People's Advocacy Institute. It's another grant-making body tied to Singham. It moves money to aligned nonprofits. Then there's also Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund. It's used as a donor-advised intermediary. It allows anonymous contributions to Singham-linked money passed through here to multiple groups. So this he's trash. He's got to go. He's a member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, the PSL. He's also part of the National Students for Justice in Palestine. Rachel, you kind of have a good point. It's like it's family meeting night. Wednesday and Sunday, family meeting night at 7 p.m. All you have to do is get on your phone. Like I said, he's part of several Dongsheng News, Globetrotter, Breakthrough News. Those are some of his news outlets that he's funding. So this guy, he's a turd. He's a huge turd. He's got to go. Next story. So here in Georgia, with the whole ICE and immigration thing, our senator, John Ossoff, which he's my senator, he's a complete turd. And he's been getting into it with his competitors, which he's running against several. Well, the two main ones, he's running against Mike Collins and Buddy Carter. Both of those guys are very capable politicians. They both have been in politics for a long time on the Republican side. However, Ossoff I believe he beat Kelly Loeffler, who is now the SBA director for Trump's cabinet. So, he did beat a powerful person. But when you look at Ossoff's money, he gets all his money from Silicon Valley. So there's not really a lot of Georgia money that goes to John Ossoff. He's pretty much bought and paid for by California. But Georgia Senator John Ossoff has recently come under heavy criticism from the Georgia Republicans because he did not publicly comment for weeks after a shocking crime involving an undocumented immigrant accused of raping an 11-year-old girl in Georgia. ICE lodged a detainer against the suspect, Kenneth Marino Guzman, a Mexican national accused of breaking into a home and assaulting the child while threatening her younger sister with a knife. So this was a very violent thing that happened. Ossoff did not comment publicly until contacted by Fox News Digital, which critics framed as him avoiding the issue because it conflicts with his past criticism of ICE, which is true. He doesn't want ICE. He wants to get rid of ICE. The clearest documented instance involving Collins comes off Ossoff's own public challenge. This is what Mike Collins has been going after him pretty heavy, which I've met Mike Collins. He's a good dude. So when Ossoff publicly demanded an independent investigation, he tagged Mike Collins on Twitter. They're playing this game on Twitter. I got you. No, I got you. Well, Ossoff's been getting hammered with this whole immigration thing. So Buddy Carter, he believes in this. Him and Mike Collins are basically tag teaming and smashing Ossoff right now. Carter criticized Ossoff ignoring the illegal immigration issues that affect his constituents, which, as we know, Lake and Riley, that happened in Georgia as well, in Athens, like close to where my daughter lives. She was killed by an illegal while she was out jogging on the University of Georgia campus. So, there's not really, if we allow this to happen, there's going to be not very many safe places to go. It's just a fact. So Carter, he's also been pointing out that, that Ossoff wants to defund ICE. He's blaming the Democrats for the immigration crisis, and he called for expanded ICE operations in Georgia. They're basically saying that he's weak on enforcement and inattentive to public safety, which, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Because it kind of ties in with everyone's favorite governor, Andy Beshear in Kentucky. He went on The View the other day and made a complete ass of himself. Now, these are going to kind of tie together because there's a lot of ice banter between the two. So Andy Beshear, when he was on The View, he was bragging about how awesome he is for vetoing the transgender bill. So Beshear he vetoed a sweeping Republican-backed bill that banned gender-affirming health care for minors, restricted how teachers can address transgender students, and imposed additional rules around sexuality and school policies. He vetoed that in Kentucky. This is a no-brainer topic. And we're going to get into the statistics of how out of touch these liberal politicians are, because they don't even listen to the polling. This is a huge. I thought I would add a really positive adjective to such a negative name like Beshear. So, favorite governor, positive, negative. So it equals out. That was my logic behind it. So the statement alone put him at the center of a national fight over transgender rights. This is a losing battle. The Democrats already lost an election because of this, and they have yet to learn their lesson. So they're going to continue to lose due to these things, because they're going to debate. They're going to debate Republicans, and Republicans are going to go, "What do you say about transgender rights?" And they're going to put them on the spot because they gotta cater to the radicals. So they're going to have to admit that they want transgender mutilation of kids. So Beshear publicly argued on The View that his veto was rooted in his faith, which that pissed off a bunch of people, and the principle of treating others as you would want to be treated. That's what he said. It's the golden rule in the Bible: treat others as you want to be treated. I don't want to turn into a transgender, so I'm not going to treat somebody else to be a transgender. I mean, if they want to do it on their own, I'm not going to have an opinion on it. But when we're talking like students, like high school students, junior high students, think of simple things like when you're thinking about going to college, when you're in school. How many times I changed my mind of what I wanted to go to college for on a simple issue like that? Yeah, it's the path for the rest of your life, but I don't like, if it doesn't work, so what? I'll find something else to do. With transgender, you can't fix that. Once you've done it, it's done. I mean, there's procedures to correct some things, but your body's done. So for Andy Beshear to put a halt to that bill was very inappropriate. And I hope that America, I mean, he's getting tore up on X. They're destroyed. Andy Beshear is probably the most destroyed person on X right now. And we'll get into some of that in a minute. But he said his faith drove his decision, which a lot of the faith-based people, including Al Mohler, who is basically like a theology expert, he blasted Beshear for using the Bible to justify vetoing a ban on body deforming sex change procedures for kids, calling it stupid. Andy Beshear framed the bill, right, Rachel? But Andy Beshear tried to frame the bill as the nastiest anti-trans legislation ever. It's not. That's just his excuse. And he's just trying to pull the radicals in to back him. In the LGBTQ focused interviews, Beshear described the bill as one of the nastiest anti-trans bills he has ever seen, and said politicians weren't talking enough about what families are actually worried about. I disagree, because we're going to talk about the polling. The polling says otherwise. So this positioned him as one of the most outspoken Democratic governors on transgender rights, which is going to cost him dearly in polls. Conservatives accused him of siding with gender ideology over parents. Outkick and other conservative outlets frame Beshear's stance as prioritizing gender ideology, supporting gender surgeries for minors, ignoring parental rights. They highlighted that he received applause when defending his veto at a Democratic fundraiser. Well, of course, your radicals all want it. They're going to clap when you say, we got to fight for the transgenders. Republicans are saying he's endangering the children, which I agree. Beshear's comments and veto place Kentucky at the center of the national fight over transgender rights, with both sides issuing, which is good. So what's happening, Kentucky's got a big, huge magnifying glass over it right now. And I would like to think that I contributed a little bit to that, but who knows? But you have, all these major federal cases going on. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. You have Elon Musk starting to donate millions of dollars to the political races here. And now you've got Andy Beshear making an ass of himself, which makes the whole country look at Kentucky. I agree with all three of you. So what do the polls actually say? So, and I don't always believe everything the Republicans say either. So when I see them say, oh, this is an 80-20 issue, I don't buy that. I say, okay, let me go find out for sure. So here's what the numbers actually do show. 59% of registered voters support a federal ban on transgender procedures for minors. 82% of Republicans support the ban. 36% of Democrats support the ban. So 56% of independents support the ban. So this is a losing issue for the Democrats. They need to understand that when you look at the actual data, 59% is a landslide. That means 41% want transgender mutilation. So that's a losing effort for that. They're going to heavily get blown out of the water on this issue at election time. It's not popular. They need to scrap it, and they're not going to. They're going to double down just like they have. They're probably going to triple down before it's all said and done. So that's an issue. So now I want to go into I am going to show you some stuff. So this is my X page, but I follow Andrew Cooper Ryder, sorry. He's been paying very close attention to Andy Beshear, and he's calling out everything. So Andrew Cooper Ryder, he's a talk show guy, a Republican guy. He's a kind of a big deal in Kentucky. Good dude. I pay close attention to him. He's usually right all the time. So when we go down and we look at some of his posts, so February 10th, he found that Andy Beshear spent $10,953 in taxpayer funds for a stay at the Palm Beach Resort. It's a 5-star resort that features its own private beach. So that's from the Kentucky State Auditor. Beshear spent $7,600 of Kentucky taxpayer money on a limousine ride in Germany. And that's according to Allison Ball, who ironically is auditing the city of London's finances right now. Oh, look, there's Russell Coleman, the worst attorney general in Kentucky. So he's just on it, man. Like this guy, he knows what's going on in Kentucky. He brings up Kentucky University getting caught red-handed, breaking state law. They're pushing DEI at the University of Kentucky still. He's catching them. And this is what Kentucky needs. More people like this calling out the people that are breaking the law. We're going to talk more about that in a second too. This guy, he says Kentucky's one of the worst states he's seen when it comes to keeping illegal DEI practices. Now, you know who's responsible for that? Your governor is responsible for that. And then you can go look. Was the education involved? Here is the Department of Education spending in this white box. $360,000 of taxpayer money was for 75 people to attend a 2-day conference in either Frankfurt or Lexington. They're having all these big money events in the state of Kentucky, and they're boarding everybody. So they're making it like these major overnight events and these seminars and doing all this. And when you go to them, I'll guarantee you, and I hope somebody does pop up in my comments eventually about this and tells me what's really going on at these, because I'll guarantee you that this is a designed effort to bring all the Kentucky educators to continue the DEI program. This is a big problem. And it goes on and on and on. He goes through, he finds so much corruption. So, I mean, it's good. It's good that he's doing that. Kentucky needs more people like that. TJ Roberts, who's one of your representatives in Kentucky, he's calling them out too. And I really, really like TJ Roberts. He's one of them guys, he's in there fighting. Like, he's not just speaking out, he's fighting. So, y'all should really pay attention to TJ Roberts and watch the work that he's doing for your state. He's a representative that I would vote for 1,000 times over. He's one of them good guys. And I can't say that about very many politicians, I'll tell you that. So the last thing we're going to talk about, well, second to last, because I have an announcement to make. I have decided that I'm at a point where I can start writing my book about London. So I'm going to start writing that. I want to have it done, sometime by summer. So I have a lot of data. There's a lot of stuff that the Weddelites don't know I know, and those will be in the book. So we're going to be putting all that together and getting it published, and that way we can all remember the reign of Randall Weddle until the end of time. I might go set up a table like right out in front of City Hall and sell my books like right there. I'll go get a vendor's permit or something, sell them right out in front of City Hall. That'd be fun. So also today, London City Council met, and this just happened. So there's a lot going on with that. So we're gonna talk about it. And I got to pull it up because I had it sent to me. I didn't have time to download it and put it on. So there are 2 resolutions in London that got talked about today. One is the city council has announced that they are going to start an internal investigation. I'll do it however you want it. If you want to be Janis Joplin, Bonnie, I'll call you Janis Joplin in the book. I don't care. Whatever you want to call yourself. Anyway, so there's 2 resolutions. The first one, they're launching an internal investigation into the NCIC that we talked about on Sunday, that a lot of people got caught red-handed in. There's over 300 people that got ran illegally through the NCIC system. And I have all their names. The people who are going to be getting interviewed for their part in it: number 1, Jamie Sloan; 2, Bobby Day; number 3, Gary Mailer; number 4, Andrew Jackson, the President Andrew Jackson; Ryan Jackson, Ryan Drew Jackson. What is this? The Jackson 3? You guys have your own music group there? Yes, The Rock can play you in the movie. We can work on that. I actually ran into The Rock at a gym here in Atlanta one time. He was here filming something and he was in the gym and I'm like, oh my God, that's The Rock. Anyway, number 7, Wes Wolf. Number 8, Troy Truitt. Number 9, John Enman, the most non-toughest tough guy ever. And number 10, Randall Weddle. So there you have it. Those are your people that are going to be getting investigated for your NCIC. What the city council wants to know is who made the order. Who is the person making these decisions and making the subordinates do it? I think everybody has an idea who's doing it, but it's going to come down to who's going to save their family versus who's going to save the mayor. Who's going to go take some prison time for the mayor? Because that's what's going to come down to. So there we have that. The next resolution. So they are going to start looking into the trash money. You might think, why is that so significant? Well, because the law prohibits money to be transferred from the sanitation budget. It has to stay there. You can't say, well, we have an excess, we need to move it over here and do this and do that. And Bonnie can be Betty White. I love Betty White. R.I.P. Betty. But they're going to look into that because the money did get moved around. They know that. The money was moved around. And when Allison Ball from the auditor, when she gets done with her investigation, she's going to find that money was moved. So the people that are going to be getting investigated for that, Randall Weddle, City Finance Director Dylan Bishop, Acting Chief of Police Gary Mailer, Fire Chief Donnie Hale, IT Director Eric Stollard, City HR Director Brian Johnson, City Clerk Ashley Taylor, and that looks like that's it on that list. So, which was funny. So they had this city council meeting about it today. I'm going to put this picture up that I had forwarded over to me. It's the greatest journalist in the history of the United States, especially Kentucky, Melissa Jones. She made a video, I guess, but somebody screenshotted it. And so here is Randall Weddle and his lawyer, Larry Bryson, who officially has not been hired back as the city lawyer, is what I'm told, but keeps collecting paychecks. But because he was officially fired. But Randall Weddle, you see here, he's sitting down and he's so mad, like his face is beet red, unless he just spends a lot of time in the tanning bed. But it's funny because he's so mad that Melissa Jones caught him in the act of giving himself a dirty Sanchez. If you look at the picture, he's giving himself a dirty Sanchez. So great reporting, reporter. You got Randall Weddle in a compromising position of him giving himself a dirty Sanchez because the shit's getting deep in London. So I wanted to share that because it's funny. If you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to get wrecked on. That's how it works. Yeah, the dude's not even, he's not even the dude's not even an approved lawyer, not by the city standards. Randall just said, hey, come back, Larry. Bro, you owe the city of London a bunch of money now, Larry Bryson. Or whoever was paying him. I don't know. Somebody was cutting checks they shouldn't have been cutting. So further, I mean, these things are going to get deep. So you've got these guys, and Weddle's camp has been relatively quiet. I'm not going to say they're fully quiet, but they're not as mouthy as they have been. So just one post that I read was by some dude. I'm not even going to say his name because he's a turd. But they're trying to figure out, like, they're still not getting the point, and they're mad at the city council. But yet, not one Weddle follower can tell me one single crime that the city council has violated. What crime? There's none. There's no crime. They just say, well, the city council be picking on Randall Weddle. No, that's not what's happening. Randall Weddle's crimes that he's committing are being, everybody's seeing them. You have to do something about it. The city council has to do something about it. Randall Weddle's getting sued by all these people, and you guys want to blame all the people that are suing him. Well, Randall Weddle violated their civil rights. So yes, those people are going to sue. Yes, you know what? The city as a whole is going to suffer over all these lawsuits. And you guys don't get it. And you never will, because the paycheck that Randall Weddle's handing you is more important than the law. He's violating federal and state law over and over and over again, which is why the FBI is in town. I don't understand how this is, like, you guys keep wanting to blame the city council. It's not the city council. You're mad because the city council won't cover up Randall Weddle's crimes. That's exactly what's happening. And you guys have bought into this criminal organization 100%. And that's not how it goes. And there are checks and balances. I know it doesn't seem like it in Kentucky, but if you push back hard enough, there is. Justice will happen. And that's what's happening. And Weddle don't like it. He thought, well, I got all this money, I'm untouchable. No, you can be touched. And the FBI is gonna let you know. There's no dodging it now. You guys have dug a hole, and you're not going to be able to just crawl your way out of it. You're not going to be able to just buy your way out of it. Yeah, it's turning into a big ordeal, and they do everything out in the open. That's the thing. If I was an FBI agent, I would just pay attention to all their Facebook posts. Jay Money's threatened to shoot somebody in the face on Facebook. Like everywhere you go, they're threatening someone on there. They dox people. They do all kinds of stuff. That doxing's illegal in Kentucky. Threatening people on the internet is illegal in Kentucky. Then to add the little nitty gritty things that they do. The tires getting slashed. I heard a dog got poisoned. All these other things that they're trying to intimidate. I heard a very disturbing story today about someone who was beaten rigorously by some of your law enforcement officers. And I'm not happy about it, and I'm digging into that. And as soon as I get all the facts put together on that, I'm going to throw that out there. And somebody needs to go to jail for that too. So it's more stuff that happens that these guys think that they can just do whatever they want. Evolve. The state of Kentucky as a whole needs to evolve. You guys are so far behind because you have an idiot governor that wants to keep you all oppressed and stupid. It's time to evolve, and especially in law enforcement. It's not the wild, wild west anymore. Y'all put your body cams on and start doing the right thing. It's really that simple. Yeah, I was just about to start talking smack about the KSP. They're the worst. The KSP is the worst. They're an organized crime syndicate. And they do get busted. Every once in a while, the feds will come in and round some up. I just talked about it a couple weeks ago on my show where the feds arrested a bunch of people. And I don't want to sit here and just continue to trash on Kentucky, because the people of Kentucky, the average people of Kentucky, are awesome. I have so many great friends in Kentucky. It's insane. So many good people. But the people in power are bad. And they don't want anybody to succeed. You look at all the destruction Andy Beshear's done to your state. All the businesses he tried to ram the EVs down your throat, and it screwed up your whole economy. And he, instead of bringing in corporations and factories and manufacturing that people could earn a good wage with. So it's a big thing. People need to get on board. And I think going through, thank you, Nikki. So I think new leadership, people with a forward thinking vision for Kentucky. Like if I have a county and I'm ranked 75th in poverty, what do I have to do to bring prosperity to my area? That's going to be my number one concern. How do I bring prosperity to my people? And instead of saying, I need to buy off as many people as possible so that way I can get away with my crimes. That's not how politics is supposed to work. And we need a reset on politicians, because they're all just as bad. It goes all the way to the top. And until we as people address these issues, these scoundrels and tyrants are going to keep continually stealing your taxpayer money, funneling it to criminal organizations, funneling it to foreign entities, using it to buy elections, which seems to be a big thing down in your neck of the woods down there, especially in Clay County. These things are all things that happen. And it just, Nikki, you just brought up a really good point. The retaliation. I stopped counting how many people have told me that the London PD retaliates against us. The KSP retaliates against us. Now, it's a problem. And that's not how people are supposed to live. You should be able to depend on your law enforcement, but you can't. They've turned into the driving force. It's almost like watching, like Cuba's military just marching around and dunking people on their heads all day. And that's not how policing is supposed to work. So that's going to be the end of the show today. But watch out. Weddle's doing his Dirty Sanchez thing. He looks desperate. And yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of digging on that, Bonnie. But that's the show for today. I'm out. Peace.